Certainly a conversation that we heard here and a conversation that was echoed between France and Germany that we have in the Eurozone, bringing back new fiscal rules. Shall we bring some of those targets or do more specific, country-specific targets? That's very much a rift there is between France and Germany. And as you said a little bit earlier, we were talking about the central bank governors talking here in Aix, a lot of the conversation based on inflation and the economy going forward. And so that's one of the topics that we approach with Paschal Donohoe, the president of the Eurogroup, who spoke to us exclusively, and he said, look, there is more work to do on inflation, but also that he was confident that the Eurozone would avoid recession this year and next.
If I look at where we are with inflation now versus where we were last year, the situation is improving. However, I do not believe that our journey is yet complete. While overall inflation is decreasing, we are seeing non-energy related inflation at a higher level than we want. And we have more work to do across this year and next year to reduce that and get back to a more normal and acceptable level of inflation.
And looking at also the latest PMI data, producer prices, they're all pointing to a cooling of the economy finally. Are you part of the people that are concerned about maybe this is going to go too far and this could tilt the economy into?
So I believe we will end up with a lower level of economic growth in 2023, but I remain confident that for this year and for next year, we will avoid a recession. The reason I have that confidence is because the levels of employment within our economies are so high. And I believe that high level of employment will generate the economic activity that we need to avoid moving into a recession.
And that was Paschal Donohoe, the president of the Eurogroup, speaking to us exclusively here in Aix. And we also caught up with Laurence Boone, who's a French European Affairs minister, who's also used to be chief economist at the OECD. And I did ask her her views on the policies that have been taken in Europe to deal with the series of crises, and said, all things considered, the European policy making has been very appropriate.
Europe, there were difficulties with the financial crisis. There were difficulties afterwards, but since COVID, Europe has been, in terms of policy making, really, really good. COVID was really well managed with the right and the appropriate policy support. We had the aggression of Russia into Ukraine, which sent energy prices through the roof. And okay, they were expensive, but no one has had any security supply energy supply issue. Inflation has been tamed. For example, in France, we have one of the lowest inflation rates. We're still projecting 1% growth. So I think given the circumstances, the series of shocks that we had, European policymaking has been really appropriate and without any excess, unlike some other countries.
That was